For English 11 on October 29th and October 30th, you can find your assignments under the modules. Make sure you are on week 8. Week 8 slides are always your guide for the day. Last class, you should have finished the text in my absence. If you were BD Day 1AC, I was here for you. Today, after you finish attendance, you'll prep for the final for the red convertible and then complete an exit ticket. Your learning targets are to demonstrate an understanding of the words acquiesce and instigate by correctly answering questions that require use of each word. And then you'll cite strong and thorough textual evidence from the red convertible by Louise Erdrich to support your analysis of the text. So before I show you this slide, you're going to go to modules, week 8. And you'll open the document that says the red convertible final preparation. I always recommend opening up the blue hyperlink. The directions say to prepare for the final of the red convertible, you'll annotate your text or type evidence directly onto this text to answer at least 5 of the questions below. Yikes, let me close out my email. For each question you answer, prepare a piece of evidence to support your response. You should be prepared to either answer the questions verbally or on a virtual document, depending on what you choose for your final of the red convertible. So I'll talk about that in just a minute, but what you see here is 12 questions. They're just divided by category. It doesn't really mean anything, but just to give you focus. Of those 12 questions, you are choosing 5 to answer. So I would start by looking through all 12 questions and highlighting the 5 questions of the 12 that you would like to answer. So 5 questions total out of all 12. And then you have an option. You can either type your response and your evidence right into this document to prepare, or you can just annotate on your text. So if you decide to just annotate on your text, you'll need your purple red convertible text out in front of you. You'll go back to the modules tab under week 8. Slides, I've given you an example of what I would expect in the annotations. So this is an example I came up with of what I annotated. I'm using an example question, which is, what is the significance of Henry biting his lip? This was an old question that we are not using this time around, so I put it down as question 13. My response was, Henry bit his lip because he was so numb from the war mentally that he physically made himself numb. He just went through the motions of life unaware of his surroundings, even to the point that he didn't know he was biting himself. And my evidence to support that was, on page 8, it says there was still blood going down Henry's chin, but he didn't notice it, and no one said anything, even though every time he took a bite of his bread, his blood fell onto it until he was eating his own blood mixed in with the food. Okay? So again, you're choosing 5 of the 12 questions to answer. You're either answering them by annotating directly on your text and finding a piece of evidence to support each question, or by answering directly underneath the question and again providing a piece of evidence for each question. Next class, when you come in, you will complete the final. For the final, for the red convertible, it's 10 points, so although it's like an assessment, it's not worth a ton of points. It's not what you would consider like a normal text. I just say assessment because it's assessing your knowledge of the end of the text and making sure that you read. Next class, for the final, you'll have the option of a written chart final. So you see on the chart, you'll have to copy paste the question into this column. You'll write an answer or analysis in the second column, and then finally you'll provide evidence and explanation to connect your analysis in the final column for 5 of the questions. Your second option for the final is a discussion. So that would be, you would come prepared with your text in front of you, and you have to speak 3 times during discussion with your teacher and explicitly draw on evidence from your text. So you would answer the question, and still, even though it's not written down, you would still give me your analysis of the quote that you chose from the text. Finally, in your week 8 slides before you leave today, I want to know which of the final options you are doing. So please complete the exit ticket. You'll find that in the final slide of the week 8 slides. It just asks what final you want to complete for the red convertible, the written chart, or the discussion. And then it asks which questions you plan to answer for the final. That way Mrs. Cassell and I can plan. Have a great weekend.